So where do we go from here? That's what we'll talk about for lunch today. I don't know about you, and I hope I do know about you, but I am planning to fight every square inch of ground to stop Obama from making America into a European socialist state. As he proceeds with this agenda, as he proceeds each of these steps, I'm going to be monitoring him on him like a hawk. I'm going to be talking with you and bringing stuff to your attention by videos and columns and emails. I'll probably be in a lot of your states campaigning against the stuff that he's doing to try to stop him from changing America from what we know and what has succeeded for over 200 years into something that is manifestly a failure throughout the rest of the country. Now, the first big fight we're going to have is, of course, the fiscal cliff that looms at the end of this year. Now, let's get something very clear. The Democrats and the Republicans both understand that the major thing we have to do to avert the fiscal cliff is to cut spending. They both understand that we need to reduce spending, reform entitlements, and do all of that. The difference comes because the Democrats can only sell that to their constituency that gets these entitlements by cutting the defense budget way beyond what we can afford, and by taxing the rich, which doesn't contribute much money, but gratifies their sense of envy and makes them feel better about everything. But the problem is that the defense cuts, after the defense cuts we've already made, seriously imperil our capacity to be an effective military power, particularly since Obama has in effect turned the Army into a public works project by saying he's not going to cut manpower, he's just going to cut weaponry. So what are they going to do, fight with broomsticks? So I think that that's one problem. The other problem is that in terms of raising taxes on the wealthy, if you do that, you probably decrease your revenues. You don't increase your revenues because you slow down economic activity and you drive up entitlements. So it's not only an inadequate solution, it becomes part of the problem. But the main thing the Democrats are going to propose to deal with the fiscal cliff is to borrow money and print money. It's a truism that we're borrowing money from China. Baloney, we're not. China has stopped lending us money. China is rolling over the debt we already have, decreasing it at each step. The way we're borrowing the money to pay for our deficit is we're printing it, giving it to banks, and borrowing it back from them at 3.5% interest. And we're pretending that somebody is lending us money, whereas in fact we're just printing it out of the clear blue sky. That can't go on forever. The Democrats want it to go on forever. And they are determined to avoid real spending cuts and put most of the monkey on the back of borrowing, not from a lender, but from ourselves in this phony qualitative easing scheme that the Federal Reserve Board is pushing. And the Democrats are hoping that by having a big fight over defense sequestration and over taxing the rich, they can camouflage what they're really doing, which is printing money and borrowing it back. And we have to penetrate that camouflage. We have to make people understand exactly what it is that the Democratic Party is proposing. Because this is not a fiscal cliff. We're not going to fall off the cliff into some oblivion and destroy the country. That's not what's going to happen. What'll happen is if we don't make any changes, we'll just continue borrowing money and printing the money. And nobody will feel it. It'll just go on until one day we do fall off a cliff, a year or two or three from now, and we suddenly find ourselves using dollar bills as wallpaper. So we have got, or losing our status as the global currency, which would be almost as bad. So we have to understand what the stakes are and fight them. So I'll be on your case. I'll be in your mailbox. We'll be sending columns, videos, emails, really asking for your help, petitions. We have rallies. This is not the end. We've got to fight this fight together. So please stay with me and let's battle it and let's win.